This is so good. Hi, my name is Sherry, and welcome to another edition of the Vegan Boomer Babe, where it's never too late to go vegan. I'm going to be making today something that kind of shows my boomer age. I'm making Souperior Meatloaf, which is how I made meatloaf for a long time, using Lipton Soup. I'm using the onion mushroom soup for my meatloaf today. This is accidentally vegan, so I have adapted my meatloaf recipe. This is fabulous, by the way. This is just as comfort food as you can get, but totally vegan. So I'm going to start with my meatloaf today. I'm using a package of Impossible beef. There's also Beyond Beef, and every time I use Impossible Beef, I always have to do my disclaimer about the differences. You can use Beyond Beef. Beyond Beef to me has a little bit more of a charbroil flavor to it, and I think the Impossible Beef is a little more neutral. So I am going to add to my bowl 1 package of Impossible Beef, and then I'm going to add a half of an envelope of the onion mushroom soup mix. Now when I do that, I like to shake it up because I want to make sure that it's well blended so that I get a half of all of the flavors. So if you wanted to make a big meatloaf, this meatloaf is kind of a small one, and it's good for serving 4 or serving 2 and maybe some leftovers. But I have in this bowl a half of a package of the onion mushroom soup mix, Lipton's onion mushroom soup mix. Then I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of Panko breadcrumbs. Now I have plain here. I will warn you that most or many of the seasoned Panko breadcrumbs are not vegan. A lot of them have cheese in them. So I found that out the hard way. I was using seasoned breadcrumbs when I first started cooking vegan and realized that plain is the way to go. I have 1/3 cup of Panko breadcrumbs, plain. And now I'm going to add, the recipe calls for 1 egg. So I have JustEgg in my bowl, and just so you know, this is JustEgg, comes in a bottle in the dairy section right near the eggs, and 3 tablespoons of JustEgg equals 1 egg. So I'm going to add, that, and 1/3 of a cup of water, which I will put in there, and 3 tablespoons of ketchup. Yes, this is right out of the 60s and 70s, but it's delicious, and that's what's important. So 3 tablespoons of ketchup, and the recipe on the box does not call, or the Lipton's recipe, the Souperior Meatloaf, does not call for onion, but I really like onion in it. So I have some chopped onion, and I'm going to add it all, and it's going to be a lot of onion, but that's how I like it. You could adjust it and use less onion if you would like. And finally, I do have some fresh parsley. The recipe also does not call for fresh parsley, but I love the coloring of it in the meatloaf, and I use my food chopper to chop up my parsley. And then I'm simply going to blend this all together, and this will be our meatloaf. So I already preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I have, if I were to double this, I would use a 9x13 baker, but since it's just a small meatloaf, I'm going to put it in a little 8x8 square. I'm still going to bake this. The recipe calls for an hour in the oven, which I will do. I will cook this for an hour. And I will be serving this with mashed potatoes. And I have a fabulous gravy recipe. I've done a video on my fabulous vegan gravy, which happens to have mushrooms in it. And of course, this is onion mushroom soup. You could add mushrooms to this if you'd like. I've done that before, and that's a really nice addition. So, but I did not do that today. So, my hands are clean. And I'm going to push this here because I'm probably going to end up getting my hands into it. I'm going to dump this into the pan. And you don't know how to use my hands. I just think it's easier to shape that. So I'm going to put it into a loaf shape. And that's it. Pretty simple. I'm going to bake this, as I mentioned, for an hour. Yeah, that's good. I know, I'm obsessed with the shape of this. Okay, I'm going to walk away. And I'm going to put this in the oven, and I will be back in 1 hour to show you how fabulous it looks. All right, so I know I said it was going to take an hour in the oven, but I just took a peek at the meatloaf. It's only 50 minutes. I think it's done. So it's got a nice brown color to it, and it looks beautiful. It smells wonderful. Smells like Sunday afternoon. And I am going to let this meatloaf sit for about 10 minutes or so, and then I will slice a piece and show you just how awesome it looks. Okay, so the meatloaf rested for like 5 minutes. I just couldn't wait. I made some of my fabulous vegan gravy, and I did put a little bit of the gravy on the meatloaf. The meatloaf looks delicious. It smells delicious. It is a beautiful color. I'm going to give it a little taste, a little bit of gravy. This is so good. I'm going to make mashed potatoes with this and some asparagus, and this is a great Sunday evening dinner. So, tastes like Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today. Remember, it is never too late to go vegan. So, I will see you next time in my kitchen, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks.